right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our 2024 Professional Service Selections Forecast Meeting. My name is Cheryl Harris, and I'm your Selection Administrator for the Professional Service process. Welcome. Now, a few words from Jody Craze, our Selection Lead for the Professional Service, our Interim Deputy Director for Capital Projects. Jody?
Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. We're really happy that you all were able to join us today. We look forward to working with you all and addressing any questions, concerns, or comments you may have. Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank you, Jody. Okay, we'll move right along. All right, I next want to always start with our purpose. Together, we create a strong foundation for Houston to thrive. And together means our partnerships with Houston Public Works and the consulting community. Our Find to Thrive values is respect, ownership, communication, integrity, and teamwork. This is Houston Public Works, although we probably have grown since this slide has been put together, but it does demonstrate the magnitude of the assets that we maintain here in the Houston Public Works. So take a look, and we are a very large infrastructure department. This slide explains all of the service lines within Houston Public Works. We have capital projects, customer account services, Houston Permitting Center, Houston Water, transportation and drainage operation. These projects do assist with the CIP. I would like to also introduce our professional service selection team that will help us through the RFQ process. They are also manning the services selection email. So if you have any questions, Chelsea Dawson and Candace Caldwell will be happy to assist. We also have our technical support, which is Darian Hooks. He's from our project management office. Just a few housekeeping rules of this platform. We will have a Q&A session. So chat to amplify, not distract, so your questions will be answered. Please be concise in your question. The meeting will be recorded and available on the vendor portal. Please hold all questions until the end of the presentation. That is when the Q&A session will begin. However, the Q&A is always available during the presentation, so your question can sit in the queue, but they will not be addressed until the end of the presentation. Some of your answers may be presented throughout the presentation, so thank you. Here's our agenda. Let's talk about it. We're first going to go over the forecast overview. Then there will be general information about the vendor portal and the RFQ process. We have also the vendor portal FAQs. This is a list of questions that we get from you also. We think it's a good opportunity to present them in this platform. And then, of course, the most important piece is the question and answering session. Now let's get started. First on our forecast list is from infrastructure design. Here's a list of all of the infrastructure projects that we are forecasting to advertise in the upcoming RFQs. We have paving reconstruction projects, drainage improvement projects. We have a sidewalk NAE project, detention pond, and of course, small diameter water line improvements. Let's just start with the drainage and paving. Louis, you want to talk in general terms?
Okay, thank you. Hello, and thank you for joining us this morning. Professional engineering services for drainage and paving projects include evaluation of alternatives, recommendations, detailed design and preparation of construction plans, and specifications for drainage and pavement reconstruction projects. There are a few of these projects in the forecast. The projects in the forecast will be designed and constructed to improve drainage of streets and reduce the risk of structural flooding. Design will include H&H and drainage, concrete paving, curbs, sidewalks, driveways, and underground utility improvements. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We do want to highlight a couple of projects that we feel that are unique. And here to present this is Sherry. Sherry?
Thank you, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone. The Wall Drive Package 1, this project is a typical three-phase contract for professional engineering services, which will include the Phase 1 preliminary engineering, Phase 2 detailed design, and Phase 3 construction phase services. So this project is intended to provide pedestrian and bicycle connections across Buffalo Bayou and Memorial Drive near the Wall Drive and Memorial Drive Cloveleaf interchange. So the project includes a new pedestrian bridge connecting Buffalo Bayou Park and Spots Park. You can see from the exhibits on the screen, and a trail to connect the new bridge to Fagan and Villiers Streets through Spots Park. It also includes retrofitting or rebuilding the Jackson Hill pedestrian and bicycle bridge over Memorial Drive to make it ADA compliant. This project will involve an NEPA environmental study, HH analysis, detention basin, and public engagement. The project is a federally funded project. The design and construction will follow TxDOT local-led project process and meet the federal requirements. Thank you, Cheryl.
All right. Next project. Here's another unique project we have, and Sherry, this one's also yours.
Okay, thank you, Cheryl. This project is funded by the FHWA Neighborhood Access and Equity Grant. The project is intended to provide pedestrian network improvements in Gulfton and Kashmere Gardens area. This is basically a sidewalk project. This project is also a typical three-phase contract for professional engineering services. The project locations are shown in the smaller map in the middle of the slide. The streets for sidewalk improvements are shown in the bigger maps on the left of the slide. Top one is for Gulfton area and bottom one is for Kashmere Garden area. So the project will include new sidewalks, rehabilitation of existing sidewalks, curb line extensions and ramps, pedestrian crossings, drainage improvements, green stormwater infrastructures. It's also gonna include landscaping, lighting, and new pedestrian bridge over the bayou in Kashmere Gardens area. So the project also will involve NEPA environmental study and public engagement. You can also scan the QR code available on the slide and go to the project website for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Okay, another unique project we have coming up is the Sunnyside Detention. This is going to be a multi-use detention pond servicing the Sunnyside area. Basically, what will be required is evaluation of alternatives of the multi-use function, a lot of landscape design. This will be a typical phase 1, 2, and 3 project. It is a CDBG, Community Development Block Grant funded project, so they will be following the requirements of the CDBG funds. Public engagement will be required for this project. Next, we have Freemanstown project, and I have Donald here to explain a little bit about this one. Donald?
All right, thank you, Cheryl. Thanks everybody for coming. This is one interesting project over in Freemanstown, and it's going to be focused on the historic brick streets of Andrews and Wilson in Freemanstown. There's a three-pronged approach and objective to this project. Primarily, it's the replacement of water and wastewater infrastructure, which is aging and coming to the end of its useful life. Whilst doing so, we need to do the roadway reconstruction, but then these are the historic brick streets, so we have to be very careful as to how we do that. So we are replacing aging infrastructure as well as the roadway reconstruction using innovative techniques to make sure that we can have good preservation of the brick streets. And whilst doing so, another component is the preservation of cultural heritage on the brick streets. So it's three-pronged. We are doing the infrastructure underground, we are doing the roadway reconstruction, and at the same time also very heavy on preservation and archaeological factors. Again, there is a QR code for the DCR that has been done over the past year. You can scan it and learn more about the project. And it will be a 3-phase contract as well. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And we also included in our infrastructure team the neighborhood water line replacement small diameter. We have several site-specific neighborhood small diameter water line projects. They will be your typical 3-phase contracts. Again, that is multiple selections, site-specific. Along with that, we will just have one small diameter water line work order project that will handle those things that pop up or they're not on the CIP that we should be able to address in the work order setting. That will be a 3-phase work order contract, and that is not a site specific. It could be citywide. The unique about the work order is that the selected firm should be able to work on multiple projects at one time. Next up is our facilities design operation projects. Here we will go over large diameter water lines, water purification plants, forest main improvements, lift station improvement, hazard mitigation projects with FEMA, wastewater treatment plant, hazard mitigation and improvements, also FEMA, and our capacity remedial measures package projects. We have our large diameter water line, which is the design of water line project sizes larger than 24-inch diameter. These are typical 3-phase contracts. We have multiple selections, which are site specific. When I say site specific, that means that those sites will be noted on the RFQs. We will have multiple selections identified for large diameter improvements. Also, we will be doing Southeast water purification plant improvements. The objective of that is to provide professional engineering services for evaluation, recommendation of improvements inside the plant associated with engineering, design, and construction services. This is a typical preliminary engineering, detailed design, construction phase service, or a 3-phase contract project. Of course, it is site specific. It will all take place within our Southeast water purification plant. Also, we have force main and lift stations that are forecasted to be advertised. The unique things about this one is it is a CD number 2, a consent decree project. Please visit the vendor portal. We do have our consent decree contract proposed template for number 2. This will also be FEMA compliant. We have multiple selections and they are site specific by packages. Then we have also our wastewater treatment plant. Of course, phase 3 services, consent decree number 2 compliant, FEMA compliant. We have multiple selections. The site specific wastewater treatment plants, here we have West District and Homestead and Northeast. But we do have a couple of wastewater treatment plants that we will be doing improvements that we want to highlight for you. First is the 69th Street wastewater treatment plant. And here I have Fareed that will go over the packages. Fareed?
Thank you, Cheryl. Good morning, everybody. As Cheryl mentioned, we have a large number of projects in this round of RFQs, but we want to highlight a few of these projects. The first group is related to 69th Street. We'll have two packages, Package 8 and Package 9. Package 8 is going to be mainly focusing on secondary treatment process improvements. That's all the reactors, reactor pump stations, all the clarifiers, plant's instrument air, and MPW system. Package 9 is going to focus on mainly on the lift station, the headwork, the sludge thickening process, and miscellaneous electrical improvements throughout the facility and improvements to buildings at the facility. All of these projects are FEMA compliant and are CD number 2 related contracts. Each one of these design packages could have multiple construction packages associated with it. The minimum qualifications for the prime consultant is a minimum of 10 years experience in successful management and design of large-scale wastewater treatment plant as a prime consultant. And the wastewater operations technical advisor that helped with the assessment of these treatment plants is on board and is going to help coordinate between projects and consulting teams during design. Next slide. All right, next group of projects we want to highlight are related to Southwest wastewater treatment plant projects. We'll have two packages, Package 4 and Package 5. Package 4 is going to mainly focus on the plant's main distribution system, electrical distribution system, and permanent generator installation. In addition to that, we're going to look at flood hazard mitigation and hardening of the facility, including but not limited to perimeter flood wall, floodgate, stormwater pump stations, new administration building, and improvements to lift station, headwork, and NPW system for the plant. The next package at this plant is going to be focusing on secondary treatment process improvements. That's all the clarifiers, aeration basins, and the old reactors, disinfection system improvements, plant's instrument air system improvements, and other miscellaneous works are included. Again, each one of these design packages could have multiple construction packages. All of these are FEMA compliant and CD number 2 related projects. Minimum qualifications, again, is going to be minimum 10 years experience in management and design of larger scale wastewater treatment plants as the prime consultants. The technical advisor that helped with assessment of the plant is on board and is going to help coordinate these projects and consulting teams. With that, we'll hand it back to you, Cheryl.
Thank you, Fareed. Okay, next we have our Houston Water Managed Wastewater Project, which is the Capacity Remedial Measures Package, or also known as CRMP, Wastewater Storage Facility Design. This project would consist of providing professional engineering services for design and construction of CRMP recommended alternatives. At this time, there is no phase 1, but there will be a phase 2 and a phase 3, which is considered under our 3-phase contract. It is a consent decree number 1, so please go to the vendor portal to see the terms and agreement under CD number 1. It is very site specific. Next group of RFQs that we're forecasting is coming out of our rehabilitation section, which is transportation and drainage operation projects. The list of projects we are proposing to advertise is traffic signal design, intersection safety improvements, street rehabilitation, sidewalk design, local drainage, SWAT, stormwater drainage planning. Our transportation and drainage operation, all of the projects will be required to have access of various conditions, make the recommendations, design, and deliver of providing phase 3 services. Most of these projects are small scale in nature, very short term, and will be issued via work authorization. We also have our transportation and drainage operation planning that will be procuring stormwater drainage planning. This is a design concept report for planning level studies. This will come under our single phase contract work order. They will be citywide. Interviews will be required with this RFQ, and there will be multiple selections. The next group is our professional services category. And this professional service, this is throughout Houston Public Works, both in TDO and capital projects in our operations group. First, we have construction management and inspection services. We will be requiring right-of-way maintenance, CM&I. For capital projects, we have something specific for our North Canal Drainage Project and our CRMP projects. And then in our transportation and drainage operation team, we have CM&I for local drainage and pavement rehabilitation. That will be a multiple selection. Also, we will be procuring for professional engineering services and technical support. Technical service and engineering, advisement, technical expert services, staff augmentation support. It also may include design and preparation of construction plans and specs. Provide engineering services and technical advisor oversight. Please read your RFQ as they may vary on those services that are required. These will be either three-phase work order contracts or single-phase work order contracts. It's depending on the nature of the scope. The location is citywide, of course, and all of these will be support of design and operations. Here's a list that we have slated for the professional engineer service, technical, and staff support. Coming out of our large diameter waterline projects for capital projects. Again, the large diameter waterline for drinking water operation. We have groundwater facility and repump station coming out of our drinking water operations. We have wastewater consent decree design projects managed by capital projects. Wastewater consent decree work order project coming from our wastewater operations. And then we also have a technical advisor for our Northeast Water Purification Plant. This is coming out of our wastewater operations group. That concludes our forecast portion of the projects. As you can see, we have over 60 selection RFQs that will be coming out. Hopefully, you guys are benefiting from this forecast meeting. So please stay tuned for information when those come out. The next portion I want to introduce is our general information of the RFQ process in the vendor portal. I'm going to turn it over to Chelsea Dawson.
Thank you, Cheryl. So I'll go over the general information, we'll go over the vendor portal, and we'll go over some frequently asked questions. So general information, the RFQs, general requirements are on our vendor portal, so you can go there and review the general requirements ahead of time if you would like. Certain RFQs have specific information. It'll be located directly on the RFQ. It will indicate if it's FEMA, consent decree, CDBG, or FEMA consent decree. It'll let you know the type of RFQ that it is. The contract samples and contract documents are located directly on our vendor portal. RFQs that require interviews are also indicated on the RFQ itself. It'll say interview. And the MWBE goal is also indicated on the RFQ as well. This is our vendor portal landing page. You will notice on the left-hand side, we have active RFQs. When these are released, they will be under active. We also have resource documents. That's where you will find our contract templates and resource documents. If you want direct access, you can scan the QR code and it'll take you directly to our vendor portal. Next. Now we'll go over some FAQ questions. How do I reset my username and password? On every account, there's an account manager or principal account, and there's an email address that's tied to it. You can reset your own password if you have the login. If you do not have the login, just send us a message and we can let you know who is on the registered account. Where can I find sample contract templates and documents? Back when we were on the vendor page, the landing page under resource documents, you will see all of our contract types, and you will see also contract documents that you submit on projects. All right, my HPW 100 says pending. Can edits be made? Your HPW 100 will remain in a pending status until you submit on an active RFQ. Once you submit on an active RFQ, then you cannot edit your HPW 100 for 2 years. You will have to handle any changes in the SOQ. Who completes an HPW 100? We require that the prime submits an HPW 100, although we highly encourage everyone to have an HPW 100, including your subs. All right, if the sub-consultants are not currently registered in the vendor portal, can they be used as a vendor? Or should a firm only pick vendors already in the portal? Well, the caveat to that is in the drop-down menu, you would only be able to select sub-consultants that are registered. So they would have to be registered in our portal in order for you to use them. They don't have to have an HPW 100 on file, even though we highly encourage it, but they do have to be registered. Please clarify whether one firm can submit as a prime and also be included as a sub-consultant on another prime's firm submittal for the same RFQ. Firms may submit as a prime on their own and be considered on another prime submittal. However, as a prime, you cannot submit both as a prime and sub-consultant. Now we'll get into our question and answers. Cheryl, did you want to take over and explain?
Yes, I will.
Go ahead.
I'll take this slide. Thank you, Chelsea, for that information. As I stated, the frequently asked questions pretty much are queued up based on the questions you guys are sending into the e-box. So if there's something that you have a question that we didn't cover, please email us in our e-box so that we can address it. All right, so now the best part of this forecast meeting is your questions and answers. I have the subject matter experts here to answer your questions on any of the forecast information that you received today in this presentation. How does the Q&A work? You select the Q&A bubble on the right side of the screen, type your question in the compose box, and then select send. If you want to ask your question anonymously, select that ask anonymously. Other than that, your name will appear. Please provide the project subject when submitting your question so we can direct it appropriately. I see we have quite a bit of questions that are coming in, so we will start that process now. Okay. All right. Question number 1. Will this presentation be shared with the consultants, please? This presentation is recorded and will be located on the vendor portal. What is multiple selections? Multiple selection means that we will be selecting multiple primes on one RFQ for that project type. So say, for example, we have a local drainage RFQ. On the RFQ, you will see where we say, 2 or 3 selections. That's what multiple selection means. It means that we are selecting more than one consultant for this particular RFQ. Where can I check if a firm is a registered vendor? Chelsea, you want to take that one?
Sure. If you go under the vendor portal, there will be a list of the firms that are indicated, or we can help you as well.
All right, the next one, of course, this is what everyone wants to know. When do you anticipate these RFQs being released? I can tell you they should be released sometime within the next couple of months. I don't have an exact date just yet. However, we're very close to getting the release. And so I just recommend that you register on the vendor portal so that you can get the notifications and any updates that may be pertinent to the RFQ release. Can a firm be a sub-consultant on more than one project for more than one firm? I can answer that. The question is yes. You can be a sub-consultant on more than one firm. The only thing that we said is that a prime cannot be a sub-consultant on the same RFQ. So if you are a prime and you're submitting as a prime, you can have your sub team. That prime can also be a sub to another prime. You just can't be part of a prime and a sub to the same SOQ submittal. All right, I'm gonna hold the Q&A open. Any other questions? Any specific questions to any of the projects that were presented? Now is the time. Okay, we have a few coming in. Just give me a minute. Okay, project subject, vendor portal. Can firms submit as a prime? Okay, we've already answered that one. Sorry about that. Is the policy still one firm will be selected for one prime contract only? The issue is that one firm per RFQ cycle. So this is 2024 round 2. Is there any limit on the number of sub-consultants to be on the same project? No, there isn't, but keep in mind your sub-consultants should be relevant to the scope of work. How many selections are expected for the traffic signal design, intersection safety improvements, and street rehab projects? I think we have a representative for that. Let me see. Is there anyone that wanted to talk to that? If not, I know that when we say multiple selections, it may not be identified how many at this time. But here to again, when you get the RFQ, that information will be on the RFQ as to how many prime firms we will be selecting for each of those rehab projects. That is for the traffic signal design, intersection safety improvements, and street rehab. We already talked about the RFQ process published date. The question is, will you have a Contract Connect event? Yes, I think that they are planning a Contract Connect event. That is a separate process. So I think they should be sending out flyers pretty soon on that. I don't have an exact date. Are the RFQs going to be posted on the vendor portal or on the SAP platform? All of the RFQs will be posted on the vendor portal, as we stated here in this presentation. With you can go to Houston Public Works contracting page. You can get there, or if you scan the QR code from this presentation, it'll take you directly to the vendor portal. If you having issues on locating it, please email us and we can guide you to that information. It will not be on the SAP platform or any other platform. Can a prime meet the MWBE goal? According to Office of Business Opportunity, yes, the prime can self-perform on the percentage of the MWBE goal if you're registered MWBE. All of that information is on the Office of Business Opportunity website. If you want to know information about the prime self-performance goal process. Would MWBEs be considered as prime for professional services or CM&I? All of our RFQs will have an MWBE goal. And again, if you're prime and you're registered as an MWBE, you can claim up to a certain percentage of your goal as a prime, according to the Office of Business Opportunities guidelines. Any environmental related projects coming in? Not at this time, but please, when the RFQs are released, we're constantly adding projects or modifying the RFQs based on needs. There may be something coming up. I would just say when the RFQs are released, please make sure you go through it. If we're going as a prime for one RFQ, can we go as a sub with another firm for the same RFQ? Yes. Can we see the contact information in case we have more questions? Chelsea, could you put the service selection inbox into the
Yes, the email.
Okay.
I'll put it in there.
Thank you. And the service selection inbox is also on the flyer. So any information you received in respect to this forecast meeting, you can always go to that inbox that is on the flyer as well. How many selections are anticipated for small diameter water line? I can tell you for the small diameter water line, currently we have 5+. We're still tying down the number of selections. So here too again, please, when the RFQs go out, make note of the number of selections. There will only be one firm for the work order. How can I get registered to get email notifications on the RFQ release? You should be registered on the vendor portal. There is a registration, or you can subscribe. Either way, you should get an email when the notification released. That will come directly from the vendor portal. So you should see that email come in if you're either a registered or a subscriber. The question about the NWBE, 50% credit for an NWBE. Yes, that does apply to professional services according to the Office of Business Opportunity guidelines. I saw there is expected to be small diameter waterline work order. Will there be one large diameter work order as well? At this time, I think we have PK. Do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, there is one. If you look at the slides, along with the large diameter waterline projects, which is a professional engineering services, it can be either a technical advisor or a staff support kind of contract. The same thing with drinking water operations, large diameter waterline projects, which is for professional engineering services, technical and or staff support kind of work order contract. Yes, there will be one.
Thank you. Can we get a list of interested primes or this webinar attendees list so that sub-consultants can contact them? I would say we will have a list, but we may not have the entire information. It just depends on how people are registered. We'll try to queue up what we have. However, Contract Connect is a good place once that is outside, once that is posted. The other, I would say, you can get on the vendor portal and there is a list of certified registered firms. You can find out there who's registered in the vendor portal, and you can make your connection and network. But we'll try to get a list up. We'll just kind of see how clean it is coming off of the registration. Is this FY24 round 2 or FY25 round 1? Considering the current FY, this impacts one prime selection from FY24. The the FY24 and 25, sometimes when we do our rounds, they are pretty much, sometimes they're in FY24 and 25. Our goal is to really do 2 rounds, and we try to say this is 2024. There may be a split a little bit between the 2 fiscal years, but they are tracking our fiscal year needs. So our goal is to at least advertise 2 rounds. We consider it within that section. So we had around 2024, round 1. This will be round 2. So yes, this is one big round, and then the next one will be the 2025 round 1. Again, I guess for clarification on if you're prime, can you be a sub to another prime on the same RFQ? Let's be clear. If you're submitting as a prime for an RFQ, you can be a sub to another prime in that same submittal. You just can't be a prime and you also the sub of your own team. I hope that makes it clear. How many selections are anticipated for CM&I? I think at this time we have only one that has multiple selection. I think that's the local drainage and rehabilitation project. The other ones are a single selection. Here too, again, that is subject to change. So please refer to the RFQ when they're released. The contract information is on the vendor portal. Please go to the vendor portal. If there's any contract terms and condition templates, they will be located there. We have all the different types, the 3-phase, FEMA, consent decree 1 and 2, any information on what the contract template will be that's governing this RFQ is on the vendor portal. We have a question about if a firm can be a prime and a sub on the same RFQ. The question that I know it's kind of quirky, but we get this all the time. If I am company X, I cannot be a sub. I cannot be the sub consultant providing the same thing. That is one SOQ. You can't be the prime and the sub on your SOQ. Although you can be a sub to someone, to another prime. I hope that clears everyone, because I think that was I'm getting some, please clarify that you can submit as a prime and you can also be a sub to another firm's prime in the same RFQ.
Also, Cheryl, they were saying, how can the prime meet the self goal? I think they're talking to MWBE goal. There's a 50% that the prime can self-perform and get credit if they are certified MWBE.
Yes, that is correct. We are following our Office of Business Opportunity guidelines for self-perform goal. If you want to know details on those guidelines, please go to the Office of Business Opportunity website. Okay, the question is on the rounds and selections. Each round is inclusive of its own. So even though it is in the same fiscal year or 2024, each round is specific to each round. The question is, can you get more than one? Can you be selected for more than one contract in that round? That's no. But can you be within the round? If you got something in round 1, and you submit in round 2, will you be considered? Yes. When the slides are shared, will it be a recording or just slides themselves? It will be a recording, and we can also put the slides as well. So we will make both available. The slide will definitely be available. It takes a little while for us to get the video uploaded into the system. I think we have time for a few more. Along with the presentation, will you be able to post a Q&A too on the vendor portal? Hopefully the Q&A will be captured under the video part. The Q&A will not be a transcript, but the Q&A will definitely be part of the recording. Okay, it's 11:52. We do have some time for a few more questions. We'll hold it open. Okay, I don't see any further questions coming in. Again, thank you for your time on this Friday morning. And we can definitely appreciate you wanting to participate and partner with the city and Houston Public Works on these important projects for our citizens. And again, enjoy your day and have a great weekend. Thank you very much.